I'm trying to talk to you. Please grant me just 3 minutes. Light up faith stop. Before you scroll, something is about to shift. And if you miss this moment, you won't even realize what slipped through your hands until it's too late. You weren't supposed to be here right now. Not at this exact second. Not with this message in front of your eyes. And yet, here you are. That's not coincidence, that's interruption. Divine interruption. Because something has been trying to reach you, and you've been just seconds away from missing it. Again, listen carefully. This is not just another video. This is not just another message. This is a moment, and moments like this, they don't repeat. There are seconds in life that carry more weight than entire years. And this is one of them, because right now, something is closing behind you, and something else is waiting in front of you. And you are standing in between, not moving, not deciding, not realizing how much is at stake. And that is why this message found you. Not loudly, not forcefully, but precisely. Like a whisper that somehow cuts deeper than a scream. Because God does not always shout. Sometimes He waits, and sometimes He lets you almost walk away just to see if you will finally stop that stop now. Because this might be the last quiet window before everything gets louder again. That you've felt it, haven't you? That strange tension in your spirit, that quiet restlessness you couldn't explain, that feeling that something is off, even when everything around you looks normal. You tried to ignore it. You told yourself it was stress, fatigue, overthinking. But deep down, you knew something or someone is trying to get your attention. The Bible says in 1 Kings 19 verses 11 to 12 that God was not in the wind, nor in the earthquake, nor in the fire, but in a still, small voice. And that's exactly how He's been speaking to you. Not through chaos, but through interruption, through discomfort, through moments that didn't make sense but stayed in your mind longer than they should have. You remember that night when you couldn't sleep, when your thoughts became louder than usual, when questions you never dared to ask suddenly surfaced. That wasn't random. That was invitation. You remember that delay, that door that closed right when you thought it would finally open. That wasn't rejection. That was protection. Proverbs 3:6 says, "In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He shall direct your paths." But what happens when you don't recognize His direction? Sometimes He blocks the path, not to punish you, but to save you from something you couldn't yet see. And yet, you questioned it. You wondered if you had done something wrong, that if you had been forgotten, that if heaven had gone silent. But let me tell you something clearly. God was never silent. You just didn't recognize the language He was using, because not every message comes as a blessing. Some come as discomfort, some come as waiting, some come as loss. And those are the ones we ignore the most. You kept moving, you kept pushing, you kept telling yourself, "I'll deal with it later." But later kept getting further away, until now. Because now you've been stopped, not by accident, but by design. There's something about this moment that is different from all the others you ignored. Before, the voice was gentle. Now, it is clear. Before, it was easy to dismiss. Now, it is confronting, not because God is angry with you, but because He loves you too much to let you drift any further without direction. Isaiah 30:21 says, "Whether you turn to the right or to the left, your ears will hear a voice behind you saying, 'This is the way, walk in it.'" That voice is here now. And it's been following you longer than you realize, through your highs, through your lows, through your distractions, through your silence, through your pain, especially through your pain, because some of the loudest conversations between you and God happened when you were hurting the most, when no one else saw you, when no one else understood, when you smiled in public but broke in private. He was there, not watching from a distance, but sitting with you and to silence you. Thought was empty. Psalm 34:18 says, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." Close, not distant, not absent, close, even when you didn't feel Him, even when you stopped praying like you used to, even when you began to doubt, quietly without telling anyone that he stayed, because God does not love like people do, that he doesn't withdraw when you hesitate, that he doesn't disappear when you question, that he doesn't abandon when you delay, that he waits patiently, silently, faithfully. But there comes a moment when waiting turns into calling. And this is that moment, because you are standing at a turning point. And whether you realize it or not, the next step you take will shape more than just your future. That IT will shape your alignment, your clarity, your peace, and your purpose. And that's why this message had to reach you now. Not tomorrow, not next week, now. Because delay is no longer harmless. Delay is becoming costly, not in a dramatic way, but in a quiet way, the kind of cost you don't notice immediately, but feel later as regret. And God does not want you to carry that quiet thought of, I should have listened. I felt it, but I ignored it. I knew, but I didn't act. So he interrupted you right here, right now, through this exact message, not randomly, but intentionally, because he knows something about you that you keep forgetting. You are not just another person scrolling through life. You are not just another voice in the crowd. You're not overlooked. You are not invisible. You're not forgotten. You are known. Jeremiah 1:5 says, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Not I noticed you. Not I became aware of you. I knew you. That means your struggles are known. Your thoughts are known. Your hidden fears are known. Even the ones you don't say out loud. Especially those, and still, he chose to speak to you. Right now, that I in this exact form. Through this exact path. Because he knew this is how you would finally stop and listen. But here's the question you cannot avoid anymore. Will you actually listen this time? Or will this become another moment you felt but didn't follow? Because listening is not just hearing. Listening is responding. And something inside you already knows what that response should be, that you've felt it before. That quiet nudge, that internal pull, that moment where everything in you said, pay attention. But fear spoke louder, doubt delayed you, comfort distracted you, and slowly the moment passed. But not this time. This time feels different, doesn't it? Heavier, clearer, harder to ignore. That's because this isn't just a reminder. This is alignment. Everything you've experienced, the delays, the pain, the confusion, the waiting at IT was all preparing you for this level of clarity. Because before, you weren't ready to hear it. But now you understand. Now you feel it. Now you can't pretend you don't. No. And that changes everything, because once you see clearly, you are responsible for what you do next. And what you do next matters more than you think of it. Oh, don't rush this moment. That don't treat it like background noise. That don't half listen while your mind runs somewhere else. Be here fully, because this is where things begin to shift. Not loudly, not dramatically, but deeply. The kind of shift that doesn't just change your situation, but changes you from the inside out. And once that happens, nothing stays the same. Stay with me, because this is where everything becomes clear. There's a moment in scripture that most people read, but few truly feel, that IT was late at night. Everything was quiet and no noise. No distraction, no pressure, just silence. And in that silence, a voice called a name. Samuel. The boy woke up confused. He ran to Eli and said, here I am. You called me. But Eli answered, I did not call you. Go back and lie down. So Samuel returned. Again, the voice came, Samuel. Again, he ran. Again, confusion. Again, he didn't recognize who was speaking. Until finally, Eli understood. And he told Samuel something that would change everything. If the voice calls again, say, speak, Lord, for your servant is listening. And when Samuel said those words, his life was never the same again, because that was the moment he stopped hearing and started listening. Right now, you are standing in that same moment that you've heard the voice before, through thoughts, through feelings, through interruptions you couldn't explain, but you didn't fully recognize it. Not because you didn't care, but because you weren't ready. But now the voice is clearer. Now the moment is heavier. Now the call is direct. And just like Samuel, the question is not, is God speaking? The question is, will you answer? because everything changes when you do. But let me warn you, truthfully, not comfortably. When you truly listen, when you truly respond, things will begin to shift. And not all of those shifts will feel easy, because alignment requires letting go. Letting go of distractions that kept you comfortable. Letting go of patterns that slowly pulled you away. Letting go of people, habits, or thoughts that no longer match who you are becoming. And that is where many people stop. Not because they don't believe, but because they hesitate. They feel the call but fear the cost. They sense the direction but resist the change. And slowly, they return to noise. They scroll again. They distract again. They delay again. And the moment passes, but not because God stopped speaking, because they stopped listening. Don't let that be your story, because there is something you must understand right now. You are not being called randomly. You're being called specifically, just like Jonah. God gave him a direction, clear, direct, undeniable, but Jonah ran. Not because he didn't hear, but because he didn't want to face what obedience would require. And running didn't bring him peace. That IT brought him storms, confusion, isolation, until he finally realized you can delay God's direction, but you cannot escape it. And maybe that's where you've been, not lost, not abandoned, but running quietly, delaying subtly, ignoring gently, telling yourself, I'll deal with it later. But later has arrived, and now the choice is in front of you again. Not loudly, but clearly. Because here's the truth most people don't say. Clarity is a responsibility. Once you see, you cannot unsee. Once you know, you cannot unknow. And once you feel that pull inside you, you cannot pretend it isn't there anymore. That's why this moment feels different. Because something inside you is waking up. Something that was quiet is becoming aware. Something that was distant is becoming close again. And you feel it. That tension, that awareness, that quiet knowing that says this matters. And it does, more than you realize, because this is not just about one decision. This is about direction, alignment, purpose, and peace. The kind of peace you've been searching for, not in words, but in feeling. The kind that doesn't disappear when life gets hard. The kind that stays, even in uncertainty. Jesus said in John 10, verse 27, "My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me." Not just hear. Follow, that's the difference. Many hear, few follow. And the ones who follow, they're the ones who experience transformation. Not instantly, not magically, but deeply. Because following changes your path, and your path shapes your life. Let me ask you something honestly. How many times have you felt this before, but didn't act? How many moments have passed where you knew, but waited? How many nudges did you silence because it felt easier to stay the same? No judgment and condemnation. Just truth. Because this is not about your past. This is about your next step. And your next step is right here, right now. Not tomorrow. Not when you feel ready. Now. Because readiness doesn't come before obedience. It comes after. Peter didn't feel ready to step out of the boat. He just heard the voice and moved. And for a moment, he walked on water. Not because he was perfect, but because he responded, that's all God is asking from you right now. Not perfection, not certainty, not full understanding, just response, just willingness, just a simple, honest shift inside your heart that says, I'm listening. That's it. Because when you give that, God meets you there. Not with pressure, but with clarity. Not with fear, but with peace. Not with confusion, but with direction. And slowly, things begin to change. Your thoughts become quieter. Your decisions become clearer. Your heart becomes lighter. Not because life suddenly becomes easy, but because you're no longer carrying it alone. Matthew 11:28 says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." Rest, that's what you've been missing. Not answers, not success, not control. Rest, the kind your soul has been craving, while your life kept moving too fast to notice. And it starts here. I end this moment. with this choice that is, oh, don't rush away, don't close this too quickly, don't let this become just another message you felt but didn't follow. Let it land, let it settle, let it stay with you. Because this could be the moment everything quietly begins to change, not in a way others immediately see, but in a way you deeply feel. And one day, you will look back at this exact moment and realize this was the turning point. Not dramatic, not loud, but real, where you stopped running, stopped delaying, stopped ignoring, and finally listened up. So if something inside you is stirring right now, don't silence it. That if something feels different, don't dismiss it. That if something is telling you to pause, to reflect, to return, then respond. Even in the simplest way, even quietly, even right now, because God is not asking for performance, He is asking for your attention. And if you made it this far, if you're still here, still reading, still feeling this, then maybe, just maybe, this wasn't random at all. So before you go, take 1 second. Not for me, not for the video, but for yourself, and simply say in your heart, speak, Lord, I'm listening. And if this message reached you at the right time, don't ignore that feeling. Stay connected, stay aware, because this is exactly why Light Up Faith exists, to remind you right when you need it most. And sometimes that reminder changes everything.